So, sticking with the climate theme, our climate series goes on because climate change is not going anywhere. The International Panel on Climate Change's sixth and latest report explains that colonialism has made climate change worse. So, the wildfires in Hawaii are concerning for several reasons. Obviously, the countless people injured, over 110 people dead, thousands of structures incinerated, and all of that history lost. These are all tragedies. The area of Maui that was wiped out was once the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, and we'll get into it soon. But the fact that colonialism is responsible for the fire that further erodes the link between Hawaiians and their history only adds to the tragedy that this community is currently going through and will be going through for quite some time. But what were the specific drivers of this disaster that impacted the population of 164,000 residents? Let's do a little bit of context here. First, Hawaii is not a natural fire ecosystem. Therefore, it has not evolved to rebound after fires. What also needs to be said is that climate change is partly to blame for this. Why? How? Well, 2 points. Stronger hurricanes are forming due to warming air and water temperatures. We saw this with Hurricane Dora's intense winds, and they traveled 400 miles to fan Maui's flames. And Maui was also experiencing a severe drought that will only get worse as time goes on. A drought that dried out plants and created fuel for the fire. And it's that last point that I want to dive into. Last episode, I believe, if not the one before, Antoine mentioned that invasive species of grasses had taken over the island and were to blame for this inferno. But how? Right? But how? And the answer to that, which I did not know at the time, is colonialism. So, new grasses were introduced to Hawaii in the 19th century by settlers who forcibly shifted the land away from indigenous resource management practices and towards large-scale cattle ranching and plantations, like the Dole Pineapple Company. The plantations were eventually abandoned in the 1990s, allowing the non-native grass to spread, meaning the fire problem was caused by vast swaths of land left unmanaged by wealthy landowners. Now, the number of wildfires drastically rose in this post-plantation era. So it is not people guessing or blaming some history, obscure part of our past. This was in data. We knew this as soon as it started happening. Now, a 21 study in the journal Perspectives in Plant Ecology, Evolution, and Systematics similarly concludes that large-scale monocropping, something we covered in a previous episode, led to the rapid loss of and degradation of native ecosystems through increasing dominance by non-native plants, and that these plants have contributed to the frequency and strength of fires. Plants native to Hawaii, on the other hand, have been shown to be beneficial to limiting wildfires. The IPCC's report that I cited earlier says that colonized areas are more likely to face worse climate disasters and linked to studies that show direct connections between environmental damage and robbing indigenous communities of their land. Others have argued that colonialism is the direct cause of climate change, and this was kind of interesting. I think you'll probably like this. Citing a fundamental societal value that motivates both colonial action and environmental degradation. And here's a quote from the article, and you can find the source in our YouTube description. Instead of treating the earth like a precious entity that gives us life, Western colonial legacies operate within a paradigm that assumes that they can extract its natural resources as much as they want, and the earth will regenerate itself. Fact that we know is not true. Earth's ability to rebound is finite. Its resources are finite. Its space and its atmosphere are finite.